What's up, everybody? My name is DayoFK Gaming, and welcome back to Killer 7 Explained, Part 4. Last part, we talked about the timeline, but there is still a lot more of this timeline, and this next part in the timeline is going to shock you. Some may already know what it is, but for some who don't know what it is, this next piece is going to kind of shock you. Continuing on, in 1975, Blackburn ended his role as Dan Smith's mentor. On a basketball court, Curtis shot Dan to death. Garcia and Smith recovered Dan's corpse, and he obtained the power to resurrect the dead. In 1978, the Killer 7 took a mission from the head of the Spanish organization that specialized in cleaning up the aftermath of accidents. They left for Spain. The target was the son of one of the organization's workers, Kes Bloody Sunday. 1980, Kevin Smith fought the pharmaceutical mafia in Miami, Florida. During the fight, Kevin killed the man he loved. 1982. In Madison Square Garden, Mask Smith fought a decisive battle against an army of prototype Heaven Smiles and Mask Smiles. Kunlun's shadow began to creep over the Second Smith Syndicate. 1987. Using their connections within Seattle's base for the nation's self-defense department, Curtis Blackburn and Pedro Montana created a black market organ trafficking route. They did this by manipulating the immigration department's procedures. December of 1990. In southern France, the Killer 7 took on a mission to dissolve a secret meeting that was scheduled to be held at a first-class resort hotel. There, they confronted large numbers of Rollout Heaven Smiles. The Killer 7 decimated the Heaven Smiles, but an unknown woman appeared in front of them. She killed one persona after another. She nearly annihilated the Second Smith Syndicate. In the end, though, Harmon Smith successfully cut her down. The persona were so heavily damaged it took Garcia and Smith 10 years to resurrect all of them. During this time, the activity of the Second Smith Syndicate was suspended. Samantha Sitman began serving Harmon Smith. In the absence of the other persona, she took work as a persona of the Killer 7. 1992. Holbert, an FBI special agent, infiltrated Coburn Elementary School and was murdered. This is a fact that's already known because I think it's in Smile. In Smile, when you're going around and you're collecting the tapes, you can hear him being murdered. 1998. The world enjoyed its first year of total peace. The international community banned all air transportation in the interest of suppressing terrorism. The analog network system rapidly developed. 1999, Samantha Smith, who was a temporary persona of Harmon, killed Johnny Gagnon. 2000, Garcia and Smith succeeded in resurrecting all of the fallen persona. The Second Smith Syndicate was back. However, Dan Smith tried to kill Harmon in a fit of lunacy. Harmon was wounded mortally. He fell into a state of suspended animation. Samantha left her work as a killer persona and began taking care of him. 2002, the network of intercontinental expressways opened. 2003, construction of the international mass-scale transportation system began. Radioactive waste and other materials were sent to an energy disposal facility, a domed structure built in the Indian Ocean. The international community's ultimate goal was to eliminate all intercontinental missiles. The number of terrorist attacks using Heaven Smiles increased. 2010, Angel, Harmon Smith returned. The battle in the Celtic building occurred. 2010, Sunset, 200 missiles launched toward Japan. Julia Kasugi was contracted by Christopher Mills to kill Toru Fukushima. At the restaurant Fukushima, Kasugi, Jean DePaul, and the Killer 7 met. DePaul was an agent for the International Ethics Committee. Kasugi killed Fukushima, but the location of the Yakumo cabinet policy was unknown. Hiro Kasai informed Garcia and Smith that Jean de Paul had infiltrated the Kaku building, wherein the final secret meeting was held between the US and Japan. Sound like I said Japan. Japan. The Killer 7 headed for the Kaku building. There, they fought a spiritual battle with Hiroyasu Kurahashi and Shinya Akiba. Meanwhile, Kenjiro Matsuoka was chosen by Kun Lun as his messiah. The missiles hit Tokyo, Osaka, Fukuoka, and Sapporo, the 4 major cities in Japan. Japan was obliterated. August 2010, Cloudman. Andre Almeida announced on television that an amphitheater wherein Stacey Spangles was giving a concert would be blown up by Heaven Smiles. During his public declaration of the act of terrorism, Almeida challenged Garcia and Smith to find him out. Garcia left for Texas. There he witnessed Almeida turn everything over to Clements. 2011, Encounter. Dan and Curtis had their final confrontation. Between the master and the disciple, Dan brought Curtis to his end, and might I say, it was a very good one. 2011, Alter Ego. The comic editor of ZTT published Handsome Men. Each time an issue was published, the events of the comic book occurred in the real world. The Second Smith Syndicate fought the Handsome Men in order to stop the serial murders committed by the Handsome Men. Love Wilcox enacted her vengeance toward the largest advertising company in the world, Electro and Line Inc., the force that controlled the crimes in the comics stories behind the scenes. The use of advertising as a means of propaganda and control was destroyed. 2011, Smile. Hiro Kasai, a member of the Liberal Party, fell from a building rooftop in front of Matsuken. Garcia and Smith recovered Emir Parkreiner's memory. The Second Smith Syndicate dissolved. 2014, Lion. The bloody heartland Emir Parkreiner was awake. He entered Battleship Island, alone to end everything. Deep underground he encountered Matsuken. He killed the final Heaven Smile, Last Shot, who bore a striking resemblance to Kun Lun. 2017. The United Nations dissolved for the sake of global reform. The world entered an age of total globalization. National barriers ceased to exist. 2020. Part of the Yakumo cabinet policy was made public. It became the subject of devout worship. 2050. A new type of terrorism appeared. Heaven Tears. The meaning of terrorism changed. Again. 2053. The Third Smith Syndicate was formed to combat the Heaven Tears terrorism. 100 years passed. 2115. In Shanghai, the battle between Harmon Smith and Kun Lun continues. 2170. The final battle takes place in Detroit. Billions of final smiles fly to Detroit from the east. Overdrive Master Smith, the main persona of the Fifth Smith Syndicate, confronts the horde of final smiles. 2171. The chess game between Harmon Smith and Kun Lun never ends, fearing his apparition. Well, that is officially the entirety of Killer 7. We have gone over everything from what everything means and does to the entire timeline. And even still, it's still confusing as hell, honestly. Even when you try to put all the pieces together, it's still massively confusing. But that's what still makes it an awesome game and an awesome story. It makes you think about these things. It makes you think about, why did this happen? You know, all the basic stuff. So, that is actually everything that is needed to know. So, until next time.